Hello, and welcome to episode 5 of the Unspoken Rules podcast. I'm your host, Sebastian, aka Rabbit. I'm here with my sidekick, my best friend, my co-host, Montana, aka Wildcard. And today we're going to be covering, the Celtics Nets series. Obviously, I think we all knew how that was going to play out. Some of us thought it was going to be a sweep, but it went 5. Without Jaylen Brown, without the help of Kemba, there's nothing Jason Tatum can really do. I got a lot of love for him, but there's just nothing he can do. The Lakers-Suns game, I didn't expect a blowout, but we'll get into it. I did expect the Suns to win, especially without AD. I figured nobody would step up, and nobody did, in fact, step up because, unfortunately, the Lakers are just, not it without AD. And, wow, what a crazy game in Denver, huh? I don't know if you guys all watched it, but me, Montana, and a couple of our friends were in Discord last night watching this game, and my golly, this man, Damian Lillard, not only breaking records, but trying to carry this team to success and ultimately getting sold and failed by his own teammates. And we'll get into that and talk about that a little later, as well as obviously previewing the games that are going to happen tonight, what we think are going to happen, and so forth. Montana, take it away.
Alrighty, so how are we all doing on this fine early morning of Wednesday? It is hump day.
Yes, sir.
And we're going to get into our first game of last night. The Brooklyn Nets closing out officially the Boston Celtics 123 to 109 points. Brooklyn wins the series 4-1. Let's go and take a look at the box score. Kyrie Irving, James Harden, and Kevin Durant, the big three, did big three type things last night. Kyrie Irving's had 25 points, 3 rebounds, and 3 assists in 38 minutes. James Harden had a triple-double with 34 points, 10 rebounds, and 10 assists in 39 minutes. Kevin Durant had 24 points, 3 assists, and 4 rebounds in 37 minutes. Joe Harris had 10 points, 6 assists, 3 rebounds, in 35 minutes. And Bruce Brown Jr., the only other double-digit scorer on the team, had 10 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists in 24 minutes. The Boston Celtics, Jason Tatum, he played his heart out, but there's not much he can do when he doesn't have that team around him to compete at the highest level.
Absolutely.
Jason Tatum had 32 points, 9 rebounds, and 5 assists in 41 minutes. Evan Fournier had 18 points and 6 rebounds in 36 minutes. Marcus Smart had played 39 minutes, had 14 points, 7 rebounds, and 4 assists. Romeo Langford, off the bench, had 38 minutes. He started? Okay, never mind. He started 38 minutes, had 17 points and 2 assists and 1 rebound. And the only other double-digit scorer is former number 2 overall pick Jabari Parker with 13 points in 14 minutes. So, as the Brooklyn Nets finish off the Boston Celtics, there are reports coming out right now that Danny Ainge is considering leaving the team for another opportunity. And with the Brooklyn Nets side of things, they now go on to face the Milwaukee Bucks in the second round. So, Sebastian, based on all things going on with the Brooklyn Nets and the Boston Celtics, where do you think Brooklyn goes from here?
So, we saw it. It's in dominant fashion. There's nothing to hide from that. The team is just too good. Brooklyn is just too nice. When they get hot, they get hot. You know what I'm saying? As long as all three of their big three score over 20, maybe like 23, I say on average, if everybody at least scores over that, they're gonna get a little bit of production from Joe Harris, which is 10 points. They got Bruce Brown off the bench. Shout out University of Miami, you know what I mean? But their team is just too nice. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's nothing that anybody can do right now that I've seen. Obviously, it's just against the Celtics without Jaylen Brown and whatnot. So, it is what it is. But like I said, I have the Nets winning in 6 in the finals against whoever the hell they play. It doesn't even matter. They're just too nasty. It's I don't know. That team is just insane. I'm just speechless. Like, I don't know how they just let James Harden join this force. Like, I don't get it. That's beside the point. With the Celtics, what else do you want Jason Tatum to do? He went 4 for 11 from the 3. He shot 12 for 27, dropped 32 points. His damn teammates like Marcus Smart went 1 for 10 from 3. Evan Fournier went 1 for 5 from 3. They shot 27.5% from the 3-point line. I don't know what else you want from this team. Like, I don't know what else you need. Like, obviously Jaylen Brown is going to come back and they're going to, that'll help for sure. and Kemba needs to step up, or they need to figure out what's going on with that squad. But they need to just, I don't know what they need to do with, like, stop letting Marcus Smart shoot the rock, I guess. Like, dude, there's no way you allow this man to go 1 for 10 and think there's a chance to win this game. Like, that's not – Marcus Smart does not shoot that bad. I don't know what happened. I don't know if he got nervous because it was a closeout. I don't know what happened with Fournier. Like, I don't know if maybe he should have just stayed in Orlando. I don't know what they thought of doing that trip. I don't know. I don't know what went through these players' heads last night. But it's the Nets. I figured this game was going to – or this series would be a sweep. They won one game. Congratulations. Move on and call it a night. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's not really much to talk about without Jaylen Brown. And then Kemba going down halfway through. At that point, it was over. It was over. They're like – nobody wanted to step up and help this team, you know, try and make it a series, unfortunately.
Of course. So with I don't really want to talk too much about the game, because I know Brooklyn's just on another level. But I think we can talk about how Brooklyn is going now to be playing the Milwaukee Bucks in the second round of the playoffs. Most people would have thought that would have been an Eastern Conference Finals matchup, but the Philadelphia 76ers are the number 1 seed this year and not the Milwaukee Bucks. How do you feel that the Brooklyn Nets and the Milwaukee Bucks stack up against each other as we get ready to go into the second round of the playoffs?
So I think it's going to go – I originally had it 6, but I think that might go 7. It kind of just depends because PJ Tucker knows how to play James Harden. Obviously, he's not going to stop James Harden because James Harden is James Harden, right? But PJ Tucker, being his former teammate, should know out of all people how to stop or how to at least slow down James Harden. Then you have Drew Holiday, one of the greatest defensive guards in the game right now, who can not clamp up, but again, slow down a Kyrie Irving type of player. And then obviously you have Giannis Antetokounmpo. I mean, he can try and slow down KD. KD's going to do KD things, but I mean, it's going to be a battle. It's going to be a battle. I'm excited to watch this series. I think it goes 7. Who wins it? I don't know. Like, it would be crazy if Milwaukee does it. They built that team this year around Giannis the way they needed to, with all the defensive-minded players as well as obviously a bunch of shooters. But now with Dante DiVincenzo not being able to play the rest of the year, Forbes is going to have to step up, and Forbes is going to have one of those games they did against Miami. They're going to have to get a lot of production from their bench players to just step up and have that next man up mentality. You know, just like how we'll talk about a little later, how the Lakers didn't. You know what I'm saying? Like, once a player is down, you got to just, all right, it's my time to shine. I'm going to prove to you why I'm here. I'm going to prove to you why I deserve a contract. Whatever the case may be, you know, a lot of people are getting paid crazy money nowadays, especially in the NBA. So maybe this could be statement games for a lot of players in the Milwaukee Bucks to leave and maybe even pursue like the cash if they want that or whatever the case may be. But this series is going to be a crazy one, and I'm excited to watch it 100%.
So my thoughts on the Milwaukee Bucks and the Brooklyn Nets. The Nets have, of course, they have 3 top-level scorers. But besides that, around them, I haven't really seen the production that's going to – obviously, the big 3 can get them 100 points on a given. Yep. But when it comes to the Brooklyn Nets and the Milwaukee Bucks, the key for the Bucks is got to be that bench. If they can outscore Brooklyn's bench and pack that punch that Giannis needs to keep the starting lineup going against the Brooklyn Nets, then they're probably going to win the series. I could totally see the Bucks winning this, just because the bench discrepancies are such a huge margin that Milwaukee's definitely going to come into the series with the better bench, but Brooklyn's going to come into the series with the better star power. So whoever wins those combination of battles is going to win the series. And it's too early to call right now, but Milwaukee and Brooklyn, it's going to go 6 or 7 games. I can see that happening.
That's what
it's
I'm
not going to be
too.
easy. This is probably going to be Brooklyn's biggest test, and it's not going to be easy at all for them. So we'll see how it goes from there.
I think this game, like the winner of this series that's going to like go down, will win the NBA Finals. So if the Bucks win this series, they're winning the NBA Finals. If the Nets win, obviously a lot of people have the Nets winning the NBA Finals. But if the Bucks do win this, I wouldn't be surprised if they end up winning a ring. And then I'll be actually happy for Giannis for staying and like letting and actually trusting the organization to build around him, because you know he thought about leaving, and there was rumors that he was going to come join us. But the fact that he ended up staying, signing that 5-year, and saying no, I'm going to trust this organization, I'm going to trust the front office to build around me, give me the players that I need. They ended up doing that with PJ Tucker on that buyout. They ended up doing that with Drew Holiday on the trade. It would have been nice if they got Bogdan, you know what I'm saying? But unfortunately, that trade didn't go through. But they ended up getting Drew Holiday from it. So, I mean, at the end of the day, that team was built for Giannis to succeed. And, of course, Chris Middleton. We can't forget about Chris Middleton. But that team was definitely built around them, too, to be successful and lead this team to a possible chip. It's just unfortunate that this has to be a second-round matchup because this would have been a crazy Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah, of course. So enough with the Brooklyn Nets side of things. Now with the Boston Celtics being finished, being essentially swept, even though they got that one game because of Tatum's monster 50-point outing. There was reports now coming out this morning that Danny Ainge is looking to possibly step down from the team and look for another opportunity. So Danny Ainge has been with the Celtics for God knows how long. He's been there
for a long time
as the president of basketball operations.
Mm-hmm.
If he decides to leave, which teams do you think could use a guy of his caliber that could help build and structure a team into a winning team like the Boston Celtics was?
Mm-hmm.
And two, where does Boston go from here if they lose Danny Ainge? Because Danny Ainge built that team with stockpiling draft picks and hitting on most of his draft picks and acquiring star-level players from free agency who haven't really panned out, like Gordon Hayward and Kemba Walker. So where do we see the Celtics going from here?
Honestly, it kind of just comes down to the key decisions with Kemba. Are they going to make that move and move on and then try and, get a younger piece or I don't know. Because like you said, Kemba didn't, he didn't come and play the way Kemba is known to play. So it's like you got to find a different PG to fill in that role that Tatum and Jaylen Brown need. And it's not a PG who's going to come here and score like 30 because you're already getting that from Tatum and Jaylen Brown. The issue is Kemba has so many off nights. The man sometimes doesn't even touch 10 points. You know what I mean? The fact that he's so inconsistent now just blows my mind. Is it because of the fit? Does he just not fit in Brad Stevens' scheme? Is it just because he doesn't know how to work with two other superstars or all-stars? I'll just go with that. My bad. I just don't know what the problem with Kemba is right now. But, I mean, the Boston Celtics have a bright future. They've always had, especially if you have Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. There's no question of that. They just need one or two more pieces to really fill that void. I still think they'll be a wonderful, dominant team when it comes to playoff time. They'll win. They'll sometimes maybe get out of the first round. If not, then they'll just get first rounded. But until they get that piece that they're missing, whether that's getting rid of Kemba and bringing someone else and using, trade assets or whatever the case may be, I don't know. There's not really much to it to go with Danny Ainge. I don't know where the heck. Does he even want a new job? Is that what you were reading? I thought he just was trying to.
There was talks about. No, there was talks about retirements, but there was another report that says that he doesn't want to retire. That he's going to explore other opportunities before he even considers that.
Where the heck would he even go? Where could you truly see Danny Ainge going?
Sure. I would try to think of a couple teams, but I'm not even sure myself.
That's what I'm saying. There's not many teams that I could think of. Sure, a lot of teams need help when it comes to building a roster, but at the end of the day, there's so many superstars, so many all-stars that you can put on one team. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's pretty much got 2, 3, some even have 4 all-stars on their team. So the teams that don't have that are trying to build from their young core up rather than building from veteran, you know what I'm saying? From veteran up, they're building from young up. So it's I don't really know what they can really do to I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I just don't know where Danny Ainge would fit right. I'd have to think about that and really do a lot of research, but I just don't know. It's just awkward
I could
situation.
think of a couple teams like Chicago could use a good president of basketball operations.
Yeah.
The Bulls are definitely a team that has 2 all-stars that needs help building the roster around them.
Yep.
Some bad teams like Orlando Magic
Yeah,
There's a couple
true.
of teams out there that are in need of a president that's going to transform the franchise for years to come. But besides that, I think we're done here with the Boston Celtics and the Brooklyn Nets.
Yes, sir.
To cap off what we just talked about, Brooklyn Nets won 123 to 109. We previewed the Brooklyn Nets and the Milwaukee Bucks, and we talked about Danny Ainge possibly leaving the Boston Celtics. So as we move on from the Celtics and the Nets, we're now going to get into the blowout of the night.
Yes,
The
sir.
Phoenix Suns winning
Hey.
115
Yes,
to the
sir.
Lakers with 85 points.
Yes, sir.
This game was something else. The
And if
Phoenix
I
Suns,
hold on, if I do remember, you did say the Lakers were somehow going to win this one yesterday, did you
and if
not?
I do remember, you said that the Phoenix Suns were going to be in a close game.
All
So
right, but they still
looks like we
won.
were
You know
both
what I
wrong.
mean? But they still won. Know what I mean?
All right.
Hey.
So as we go into the box score for the Phoenix Suns, we had Chris Paul, who played 23 minutes, had 9 points, 6 assists, and 4 rebounds. Of course, none of the starters really played that much last night,
Yeah, they
but
barely played.
Chris
Yeah.
Paul got an aggravation of the injury off of a dirty hit by who was it again? Was it
Wesley Matthews.
Wesley
I
Matthews?
don't really know if that was too like at first I thought it was dirty, but after looking back at it this morning, I think it was just unintentional. I think it was really just going for that rebound. Usually, that's what you kind of do when someone's trying to box you out. You don't throw an elbow and whatnot, but you try and be aggressive and try and get that rebound. Under the impression that shot will be a miss, and it was, and it was just unfortunate that that's how that transpired. But at first it did look dirty, and I was actually pissed off. But after waking up and looking back at it this morning, I don't think it was a dirty play. I don't think that was his intention. And right after the game, Chris Paul went up to Wesley Matthews, apologized for his breakout and how he was really pissed off and said, "Look, I know it wasn't dirty." Da da da. Like they had a little conversation after the game. But yeah, so my bad. Continue.
So Devin Booker played 33 minutes at 30 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists. DeAndre Ayton played 27 minutes, only had 8 points and 7 rebounds and 2 assists. Jay Crowder played 29 minutes, had 9 points and 2 assists. Mikal Bridges played 30 minutes, had 13 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 assists. Cameron Payne off the bench played 19 minutes, had 16 points, 4 rebounds, and 1 assist. The only other double-digit scorer for the Phoenix Suns was Cameron Johnson, who played 13 minutes and 11 points. As far as it goes for the Los Angeles Lakers, LeBron James, who I thought was going to come out last night and play aggressive and be in Le King mode, did not show up for his team at all. And now I'm starting to question whether or not Father Time is catching up to LeBron James and whether or not he's becoming washed of a player. He had 24 points, 7 assists, and 5 rebounds in 32 minutes. And Kyle Kuzma had 15 points in 23 minutes. Taylor Thornton Tucker had 11 points in 16 minutes. Besides that, there were no other double-digit scores for the Los Angeles Lakers. So, Sebastian, the Phoenix Suns are now up 3 games to 2.
Yes, sir.
3 games to 2. How do the Phoenix Suns move on from here in Game 6? And do you give the Los Angeles Lakers any shot?
No.
Any shot?
No. I think this series is over. It kind of just depends on AD. Obviously, AD is probably going to play. But if AD is not going to play, I think if AD comes out, even with that strained left groin, he's going to be like 50 to 70%. I don't think he's going to be too healthy to be aggressive as much as they're going to need from him. So I think this series is pretty much over. I called it from the beginning in 6. Now, AD's injury did affect that. It could have gone 7 had AD been playing. But even if AD comes back, I don't think he's going to be right. I think he's going to play soft. I think he's going to pull that game 1 performance. He's just going to sit on the perimeter, try and just hit his threes, and just pray to God that those shots fall. I think Vogel messed up last night. You can't just have LeBron be your only playmaker. You know what I'm saying? And I think they should have played Horton Tucker a lot more minutes. I know he got 16, but I think he should have potentially even started last night because that's their secret weapon right there. Horton Tucker has always been a secret weapon this year shoot, even last year for the Lakers, like that man would come in and just get crucial buckets for them. You know what I'm saying? And so, hold on. Oh my God! Breaking news, Montana.
Breaking news.
Excuse me. Shams and Woj just tweeted out Boston head coach Brad Stevens is planning to transition from his current role into becoming the new head of basketball operations of the Boston Celtics.
What the hell?
And Danny Ainge is expected to step down as the president of basketball operations for the Boston Celtics. Wow.
Bruh.
Wow.
No wonder he turned down that Indiana job. He knew this was coming.
Wow.
That's crazy. He wasn't even. Brad Stevens is the director of basketball operations. I didn't even think he hasn't done anything as a coach yet in the NBA to warrant that spot.
I don't even know how to continue going on. Well, I'll just continue what I'm saying. But I'm mind blown at that one, Chief. I'm mind blown at that one. Shout out Shams. Shout out Woj for making those tweets. Jeez, Luis. Shout out our boy Tipper in the chat for even making that known because I didn't even, I have my phone on silent. But wow, that was that. Okay. But yeah, Dennis Schroeder going 0 for 9 in that game was not anything LeBron can do. Like when these teammates are not playing, like like if they're not here to hoop, they're not here to hoop. Alex Crusoe, I said he could probably drop 10 if he really steps up. He only dropped 5, shooting 2 for 8. He didn't want to step up. Wesley Matthews shot 1 for 5. Montrezl Harrell played 12 minutes. I don't know, bro, but I found this hilarious. I just noticed this notification earlier. Snoop Dogg posted on Twitter. Never thought I'd say it, but we sorry. And the Clippers better than us. Frank Vogel can't coach, and why the F Montrezl Harrell ain't getting no run? F, this is a heartbreaking AD hurt more than Mary J. Blige record. Wait, okay, I don't know how he wrote that, but whatever. We soft. Basically, he just called the Lakers soft. He said the Lakers are soft, the Clippers are better than them, and all that. I mean, he's not wrong, bro. I don't know what Frank Vogel is doing, bro. Even last night, I don't know if you saw the tweet, but there was a tweet. This man, Frank Vogel, was sitting there, and he's like, what are we doing? So if Frank Vogel doesn't know what his team is doing, at that point, is he even coaching? Like, did he want these boys to win last night? You know what I'm saying? So I just don't know. I'm not too sure exactly what Frank Vogel wanted to do with this team. Not running Montrez as many minutes as he wanted to is just an unfortunate situation. Obviously, they were getting blown up. Go ahead.
Let's be honest here.
Go ahead.
Frank Vogel is not the coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. It's
LeBron James is. All right. I mean, we can all agree.
Frank Vogel is just a puppet. Frank Vogel was nothing in Indiana. He was nothing in Orlando.
Whoa.
He comes to Los Angeles and he rides the coattails of LeBron James to the NBA Finals last year. The only reason he's not that good of a coach. He really is not that good of a coach.
I mean, I was going to give him his credit in Indiana. I mean, we had some good runs. We had some good runs against the Pacers back in the day. Our big three versus the Pacers. You know what I mean? I was going to give the man his credit, but I mean, shoot, if we're just going to knock his, boom like that, by all means, all right. Bet Frank Vogel's carrying choo-choo by LeBron James.
He's being carried by LeBron James.
All
right. So my thoughts on the game. The Phoenix Suns all lost. I don't know. After the first quarter, it was a close game in the first quarter, but after the first quarter, the Phoenix Suns just started pouring it on Los Angeles Lakers. The Lakers couldn't stop them. Like the defense wasn't set when there was too many in transition fast break opportunities for the Suns that led to open 3-point shots, led to open layups. Chris Paul in the first half was diming up people left and right. Devin Booker was just on another level last night, even though his second co-star DeAndre Ayton didn't have a great game. He didn't need to because they were up by 30 going into the second half. So, as far as the Los Angeles Lakers go, LeBron James I think he's becoming a washed player now. He's just not that same MVP type level player that we used to seeing. And the only way the Los Angeles Lakers are going to win Game 6 is if Anthony Davis somehow gets back on that court. Because LeBron needs Anthony Davis to win the chip this year. Anthony Davis is the best player on that team. And it's not even close. LeBron needs the extra help because he's not getting it from his role players. I mean, there was only 3 players that scored double digits, and 2 of them came off the bench. Not even the starting lineup cracked 10 points. So
go ahead.
If the Lakers get bounced in Game 6, they're going to have to rework the whole entire squad. to see who's going to stay and who's not going to stay. And I think they're missing what they're missing from last year's team that didn't come over to this year's team was the 3-point shooting is not there. Their confidence is not there. KCP is not his confidence in shooting threes is not there.
I mean, okay.
What happened?
No, I was just gonna say because KCP was coming off of that injury, so like he needed to get into rhythm. He wasn't able to. Only shot one shot. Dennis Schroeder going 0 for 9. Like LeBron has always been, at least the latter half of his career, has always been the type of player to just dish and trust your teammates. Having Dennis Schroeder go 0 for 9, 0 for 4 from 3, what else can LeBron do? You know what I'm saying? Kuzma going 1 for 5. Wesley Matthews going 1 for 5. Caruso going 1 for 4. There's not much that LeBron James himself can do to try and carry this team. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's used to having people that hit shots surrounded by his team. Dennis Schroeder missing every single shot that he shot. You know what I'm saying? Has like you can't put all the blame on LeBron James. I don't think he's washed. It's just the latter half of his career. He's always been the player. I'm gonna take a step back. Let the better players, aka Anthony Davis, lead the way, and I'm just gonna be that role. They're not role player, but like that player to just dish the rock, like the Magic Johnson type of player. He'll score his 20, but he's gonna dish the ball to find teams open and have their the teammates step up and get into rhythm and help carry this team. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, this was a game that LeBron was supposed to come out and drop 30 plus. But when LeBron is not playing, or not LeBron, when his teammates are not playing where they need to be, at that point, I think LeBron was just like, yeah, this game's pretty much over. Dennis Schroeder coming in, missing every shot. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody just not making their shots. At halftime, they were down what? You said 30, 34, what is that? 66 to 36. Jesus Christ. 66-36 at half? Hell no. No, he probably knew. He's like, yeah, there's probably no way. They won the third quarter, and then they lost that fourth quarter by 1. I don't know, man. It's just an unfortunate situation for the Los Angeles Lakers. I think what they're really missing is their heart. They don't got heart right now. They're playing this really soft. They're playing it sad. They're going out sad. They're like, I guess they're really relying on Anthony Davis. Like, they're like, if Anthony Davis is not playing, we're gonna lose. It's like they're scared all of a sudden just because he's not playing. Yeah, that's what I was mentioning earlier. It has to be the next man up mentality. The fact that they don't have the next man up mentality is ruining this team. Nobody wants to step up and help this team.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it is what it is. Did my headphones just break, or do you sound completely different?
Do I? I think, I don't know. I lost connection with my microphone, so I'm trying to figure that out. Keep talking.
Oh, okay. Do you want to continue talking about this Lakers game, or would you like to move on?
We can. I don't know what's going on with my microphone.
You're good. You're good.
Shit.
So the Suns. I mean, they didn't really have to play that much. At least their starters didn't have to, due to the fact that they were literally blowing them out. I think Mccollum was getting some good runs in. Jay Crowder was getting some good runs in. D-Book obviously played 33 minutes and hooped. But it was a blowout. I didn't expect it to be a blowout. I expected the Suns to win. I was surprised there. Nice. Hello. But yeah, so I don't know. The Suns, I feel like, are going to win next game, even if AD plays, because, like I said, he's just going to be soft. And, yeah, we can move on if you're ready to go, Montana. I guess I'll carry it into it. I'm not too sure what's going on over there. But so the next game that happened was the Portland Trail Blazers and Denver Nuggets. Now, that game was probably one of the craziest games I've ever watched in quite some time, like I mentioned earlier in the beginning. Damian Lillard dropped 55 points. We were watching that game in Discord, me, Uzi, and some other friends, as well as Montana coming in a little later. I don't know what else Damian Lillard needs, bro. Like, his teammates just didn't step up in the latter of that game. CJ McCollum shooting 7 for 22, 2 for 8 from 3. We saw CJ McCollum at the very last, I think it was 10 seconds of that game when they needed a bucket. He stepped out of bounds in the second overtime and just, sold the bag for Damian Lillard's 55-point game. Damian Lillard literally had 17 points out of the 19 points in both overtimes. So clearly Damian Lillard wanted to win. But having Norman Powell go 0 for 3 from the 3, when spotting up in clutch moments, missing, having Covington shooting a stupid shot with, I believe, 30 seconds left in the game, and having Melo go 2 for 9 just didn't help this team at all. And by the way, 2 for 9 from the 3-point line. I'm not talking about field goal percentages because, I mean, that happened during the fourth quarter and like the third quarter and whatnot. But overtime as a whole, Damian Lillard cannot be the only person scoring the ball. He's got to get help. And the fact of the matter that he didn't get help is just unfortunate. I had the Trailblazers winning in 6. I don't think the Trailblazers even win this series anymore. After putting up a performance like that in Mile High, Draymond said it perfectly last night. Putting a performance like this in Denver or in Utah is really going to put a lot of, you put a lot of energy into this. And ultimately it just, I don't think Damian and the squad is going to be able to bounce back and, try and get some sort of life in the next game. I hope the Trailblazers win in 7. That would totally be nice. But Shaq said it too. I forgot Shaq said it. You got to think about this. Do we really think if it comes down to the wire like that, some of those shots go in at home? Because Dame Dollar was just feeling himself. You know what I'm saying? He was feeling himself, pulling goddamn everything. Some of those shots don't fall this game. You know what I'm saying? They don't go to OT. Some of those shots don't fall. That game doesn't go to, you know what I'm saying? That game doesn't go to double overtime. So the fact of the matter is he needs help. Damian Lillard needs help in order for them to turn their series around. I wanted to mention this also. I was shocked at this stat. I did not even know this. But Damian Lillard, if you search up 3-point field goals, or 3-pointers made in a career playoff game, in a playoff game, right? Damian Lillard holds 3 out of the 4 top spots. Number 1 being last night, he broke the record with 12 threes, beating Klay Thompson's record from Game 6 in the OKC series when they came back 3-1 in 2016. Klay Thompson had 11 in that game. Damian Lillard also had a 10-point game in the OKC series back in 19 when he hit the 10th one over PG to win the game, or win the series, or rather say. And then obviously he had 9 in game 2 of this series where they got blown out and lost by 20. So the fact that Damian Lillard holds 3 out of 4 of these records for 3 points made in a playoff game is absolutely insane to me. Also with the 55-point game, he is now tied for 5th all time in points in a playoff game. He has joined Allen Iverson, Michael Jordan 3 times, as well as Rick Barry. Last night on TNT, Charles Barkley was a little nervous. Draymond Green was messing with him, saying, "So how happy were you? Did you have your pom-poms ready?" And he said, "Man, I wish I would have had my lipstick and pom-poms ready because I was so scared he was about to beat me." Because Charles Barkley is 4th with 56 points, tied with Michael Jordan and Wilt Chamberlain for points in a playoff game. So Charles Barkley was a little nervous and a little scared that Damian Lillard, because D. Mitch already has his beat. D. Mitch beat him with 57 back in the Nuggets series in the bubble. So D. Mitch already beat him back last year. So he was nervous that D. Lil was about to beat him too. You know what I mean? So the fact that D. Lil dropped 55 and they lost is extremely, extremely unfortunate. He had a phenomenal, stellar, career-setting or record-breaking game. Just his team wasn't there to help him in the down the stretch. It's just sad for these damn boys. Michael Porter came to hoop with 26 and hitting a clutch 3. I believe it was in the first overtime where they pretty much it was a dagger, but at the same time, Damian somehow came back and just, banged everything. Aaron Gordon had a nice game, 14 points, 6 for 11, 10 boards. Nikolai Jokic, 38 points. The man is always going to drop a 30 bomb. You know what I'm saying? The quality is too high. Oh, damn. I'm dead. Austin Rivers had a good game, 18 points, 4 for 8 from the 3-point line, 5 for 10 from the field.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Monte Morris had 28 points. 10 came from the free throw line, going 4 for 9 from the 3, 7, 8, 18 overall. That's how you know, and that's where you get role players coming in and stepping up. Jamal's out. You know what I'm saying? what's his name? Capazzo wasn't going to do anything, was already going 0 for 5. And the fact that they relied heavily on Monte Morris to step in off the bench and end up being that guard, that PG that they needed to put the work in to fill in that role for Jamal Murray was absolutely phenomenal. So getting that productivity from Monte Morris, getting that production from Michael Porter, because he put the blame on himself last game. You know what I mean? He put the blame on himself, said, I cannot come out playing this slow. I got to come out fast, out the gate. And he did so, going 10 for 13, 3 for 5 from the three-point line, 3 for 3 from the free throw with 12 boards, 3 assists, and all that good stuff. Aaron Gordon did what he needed to do, like I mentioned. Austin Rivers did what he needed to do, like I mentioned. Everybody else just did what they needed to do. Marcus Howard was great off the bench as well. 16 minutes, going 3 for 6 from the field, 3 for 4 from the three-point line with 9 points, solid hits. I was surprised that he was taking all these damn threes from the people that I needed, because I did make a little bet last night, but it is what it is. You know what I mean? So, hey, they got the work that they needed from their role players, something that Portland did not. And if Portland can get that production from their role players, I think they win Game 6. I just don't know if they can come back and win Game 7 in Mile High. It's just going to be a rough one. Hopefully they have the energy to come back and make this a 7-game series, but we'll see. I don't know. What do you think, Montana?
So with the Portland Trail Blazers, what a crazy game last night.
Yes, sir.
147 to 140. Double overtime. Damian and Lillard were just making 3 after 3 after 3. It's just different for Damian Lillard. He's just one of those players that he's a bad man. At that point,
Yes, sir.
I think whoever was guarding, I think Monte Morris said it. Was it No, Austin Rivers said it best.
Austin Rivers.
Just like there's nothing you could do to stop him. Like
Mm-hmm.
he's guarding him, but like this guy was just making everything, bang shot after bang shot, 3 after 3. They were just not at that point where like the Nuggets knew they were able to score, but Dame was just on another level at that point. So like it was just an awesome game to watch.
Yeah, absolutely.
Michael Porter Jr. obviously he stepped in and helped Jokic out last night. Had 26 points, or was it 29, 26? I think it was.
I believe it was 20. Yeah, 26 or 28.
He had 26 points. He had 12 boards. Played 48 minutes of gameplay, so that was great. Monte Morris, guy comes off the bench. He just puts a masterful performance.
Yep.
He had 28 points. It was different. Like last night was a great game for the Blazers, but the Nuggets played a little bit better than them at that. And during that second overtime period, when you got CJ McCollum missing shots left and right, you have Carmelo Anthony missing 3-pointers left and right, you know that your probably is not going to be your day.
Yeah.
So if I had to guess, I think Portland's going to come out in Game 6 with a vengeance, and I think they'll probably win Game 6. But besides that, the Nuggets are probably the better team in this series, and they're going to probably win it. If I had to guess, if it's not in Game 6, it will probably be in Game 7, but I'll give the Blazers the benefit of the doubt that they win Game 6.
Yep, they just got to come out. They just can't come out slow like they did. I was not expecting a slow performance since they at least the role players had a really slow performance the last game. I expected them to come out a bit better. It is what it is. It's just going to be hard, bro. It's not even going to be hard for the role players because they obviously sold the bag. It's just going to be hard for Dame, bro, to play in the Mile High, or in that altitude. I'll go with in Denver, and then to go back to Portland and somehow try and have the energy to push this team to a 7. I just don't know. I'm praying because I would love to see this series go 7 because that's when Dame Dollar comes out. You know what I'm saying? Dame Dollar comes out in really crunch times like Game 7s, bro. That, you know what I mean? We're going to get not only, you know what I'm saying, ice in his veins, but we're going to get Dame time. You know what I'm saying? We're going to get Dame time. So I would love it. We got Dame time tonight. Just his teammates couldn't help him. So I would love to see again a 7-game series, but I just don't know if Dame has the energy to try and carry this team to a 7-game series.
All right. As the Blazers lose in Game 5, 147 to 140 in double overtime, we're going to get into the preview of tonight's Wednesday games. We have 4 games on the NBA docket. Yes, Before we get into that, I'm going to give you guys a quick reminder. If you haven't followed already, the Spotify or Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you guys listen to your podcasts, just give us a rating, review the podcast. It'd really help us so much tremendously. We really do appreciate all of you guys' support. If you guys are YouTube listeners, subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you guys are Twitch, if you guys are here and haven't followed the Twitch channel yet, give us a follow. It's gonna help me and Sebastian keep growing this podcast even further than what we're doing now, and we're excited for the future of this podcast and other podcasts to come. So yeah, if you guys enjoy the content that we're providing you guys, just give us a rate and follow on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. That really help us a lot. All right, so as we get into the games for tonight, we have 4 games on the National Basketball Association docket.
Yes,
We have 3 potential closeout games tonight. We have the Atlanta Hawks up 3-1 over the New York Knicks back in New York. We have the Philadelphia 76ers against the Washington Wizards in Game 5 back in Philly. We have no idea if Joel Embiid's going to be playing in the game or not. That's still to be determined at this point. And we have the Utah Jazz back home against the Memphis Grizzlies in Game 5 up 3-1. And then we have the Los Angeles Clippers and the Dallas Mavericks at 10 o'clock Eastern time tonight. 2 games apiece. Both of those teams are tied. So as we get into tonight's games, let's talk about the first game on the docket. The Philadelphia 76ers are looking to close out the Washington Wizards at home and advance to the second round. So, Sebastian, if the Sixers don't have Joel Embiid, do the Washington Wizards win this game?
Do I think they win this game without JoJo? I want to say I think they do. I think if Joel Embiid, if Joel Embiid does not play, I think the Wizards could come out and take advantage off the rip rather than having to take advantage late in the game. I think they come out strong, you know what I'm saying? And they make this a little nice series. I expected it to be 6 because I wanted to give them the benefit of the doubt that they had Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal. It wasn't looking like that for a little while. Then they got that win. And now Joel's injured. I don't think the Wizards win the series at all. There's just no chance. But I do think there's a potential chance, depending on this injury and the severity of Joel. I think the Wizards could pull one out tonight, make this a 6 game. I'm trying to find any news on Joel's injury. This article is telling me that the Sixers right now are optimistic that he does in fact play tonight. But then another article from another beat writer in Philly is saying that he's absolutely doubtful. There is just no chance that Joel is able to touch this court. So I'm trying to, you know what I'm saying? Like there's too many people that are telling me 2 different things, so I can't even give you what I think about his injury. But if he plays, I think it's closed out. Call it a night. Great effort, great, fight by the Wizards. But if he doesn't play, I think the Wizards can come take advantage of that. And hopefully, Robin Lopez, I think they should start Gafford, have Robin come off the bench, or if they want to flip the script and put Robin back in, by all means. But I think they go with that and attack that, and I think they'll be fine and win Game 5 tonight. But what do you think?
I think if Joel Embiid doesn't play, then the Washington Wizards will win the game. It's going to be a close one like last time.
Yeah.
But if Joel Embiid doesn't play, I think Westbrook and Beal are going to use that to their advantage and win Game 5 and force it back to Washington.
Yep.
Because they're too good of a player. They're too good of players not to go out without a fight. And they played their hearts out in Game 4. There's no reason to expect they wouldn't do it again in Game 5. Without the Joel Embiid, the Sixers are a completely different team. Ben Simmons is not the shooter that Joel Embiid is.
Yep.
Tobias Harris is hit or miss sometimes. The Sixers need Embiid to win the game. That's my take on it. If Embiid doesn't play, the Wizards are going to win. There's no doubt in my mind.
Because the thing is during the regular season, there was a game that they played. These 2 teams played that Scott Brooks off the muscle turned to a hack of Simmons, and this man, Ben Simmons, shot 25 free throws in that game. So the fact of the matter is Scott Brooks, without JoJo, their game plan, forced Ben to attack the basket and foul him, so he has no other choice to hit free throws? Or are they game planning around Tobias to slow him down and then let Ben Simmons do whatever the hell he wants? Because at the end of the day, even if he attacks the basket, you're gonna have great defensive presence down there, and then he still has to make the free throws. So without Joel, it's just gonna be like you said. It's a completely different team. I just want to see what Scott Brooks comes out and schemes with. Like, are you gonna go and oh my God! Apparently, Jason Kidd and former Atlanta Hawks coach Lloyd Pierce are now expected to be head coaching candidates for the Boston Celtics.
Why would you want Lloyd Pierce? That guy didn't do anything for Atlanta.
I don't know, but the fact that Jason Kidd might coach there is blowing my mind. But that's beside the point. Okay. But yeah, so without Embiid, it's a really weird team. Like I said, I want to see how Scott Brooks schemes around Ben Simmons' ability to not shoot the ball. I want to see if he just lets him do whatever the hell he wants, attack the rim, but at the same time make sure to do some sort of, foul if they, to prevent him from scoring. But yeah, I don't know. It's going to be a very interesting game tonight. I don't think it's a blowout either way it goes. I think it's a close game. I just see without JoJo the Wizards winning. With JoJo, I think the Sixers close it out.
Yeah. Alrighty. So with that game out of the way, we can move on to the next game early in the schedule. The Atlanta Hawks are down or up, not down, up 3-1 against the New York Knicks. The Knicks are down 3-1. As we get into Game 5, they're back in Madison Square Garden. The Atlanta Hawks are clearly the better team offensively. Defensively, the Knicks have yet to put it together on the road. So now they're back home. The two games that in games 1 and 2 were close games in New York. I want to say that the Knicks win tonight, but it's going to be a close game. But I know you agreed. I know you disagree. I know we know Trae Young is a great player.
Yep.
The Atlanta Hawks might have just too many weapons for the Knicks to handle at this point. The Knicks are missing the offensive firepower that they had in the regular season. Their threes are not falling. Julius Randle's not playing like an all-star. It's gonna be a challenge for the Knicks, but I do believe they're gonna find a way to get it done tonight.
I'm telling you, man, it really comes down to the fact that this is Julius's. Like, you can see it. It's unfortunate, but you can see that this is Julius Randle's first playoff appearance, and the nerves are at an all-time high. It's getting to him mentally. Like, when he starts out slow, he's like, you can tell he's in his head, talking about like, oh my God, bro, I can't hit these shots, and like, you can only say, like, Derrick Rose can only lead so much and be like, look, like, calm down, just lock in. We need you. We're not going to win any game without you. You know what I'm saying? So Derrick Rose can only lead mentally for Julius Randle. Derrick Rose has clearly been getting his buckets, doing his thing, but Derrick Rose is looking like the only person that wants to win. Julius is playing too slow. RJ Barrett's playing too slow. I mean, RJ's doing his thing, but he's not, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're not the same team as they were in the regular season. And it's just the fact that they don't have that experience. Obviously, with D Rose, you do, but I don't know, man. Even with the Hawks not having that crazy much of experience, they still have all of those players hitting their shots and wanting to win. They all have the momentum right now. They're like, okay, I believe in you. I believe in you. I'm going to kick you the ball. Everybody's hitting their shot. So there's no excuses from Atlanta. Be like, oh yeah, so, like, we don't have that experience, that this, that, and the other. So it's just an unfortunate situation for New York. I think Atlanta closes it out. I think we're going to hear a lot of FU Trae Young a lot tonight. I think we're going to hear a lot of FU Atlanta tonight. I think we're going to hear a lot of hostile New York fans, pissed off, mad. They might even start chanting overrated at Julius Randle. You know what I'm saying? Like, they might just start disrespecting their goddamn team at this point. I don't know. But yeah, I think it's done tonight. I don't think they go 6. And that's pretty much that. That's pretty much that. They're just not the same team as they were in the regular season, and it is what it is.
Alrighty, so with that out of the way, we have another game tonight. We have another closeout opportunity for the Utah Jazz. They're up 3-1 on the Memphis Grizzlies. The Utah Jazz are going into Game 5. This has been a competitive series so far. The Grizzlies just don't have enough firepower to compete with Utah on that level of gameplay. Yep. So I think Donovan Mitchell and Mike Conley, Jordan Clarkson, Bogdanovich, Ingles, everything's going to be clicking for the Jazz tonight as they get ready to close out the Memphis Grizzlies. The Utah Jazz are going to win this game decisively.
Yep.
It's not going to be close. As
Yep.
much as I think John Moran's a great player, but as much as I think the Memphis Grizzlies are a little bit on the slower side of the spectrum here, for the Jazz, for them to compete with the Jazz, they need at least a little bit more experience, and I don't think they have that yet. They're like a couple years away from contending. I still think the Warriors should have been the team that
Who you telling, man?
should have been the A spot. If their playing tournament didn't exist, we would have gotten that. So, I mean, that's what it is. It is what it is at that point.
Yeah.
Where do you think of this game?
I think, like you said, Utah closes in wonderful fashion. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you're just getting more productivity from your bench. You're getting more productivity from your role players in Utah, and you're not getting that in Memphis. You get inconsistent games from Grayson Allen. You get inconsistent games from literally that entire bench on that roster, and it's just unfortunate. You know what I mean? Like they're not bad. Like they're not a bad team. The Grizzlies are not a bad team, but they are missing players to step up and step in. When you have Jordan Clarkson and his ability to hit minimum 15 points a game, then you have Ingles, who's inconsistent but will still get you those points that you need. You know what I'm saying? And if he's off that night, you still have Bogdan to go hit points for you. You still have Conley to hit points for you. You still obviously have Gobert. You still obviously have Royce O'Neal. And you still obviously have, what's his name? Something Niang, whatever, Georges Niang. Like, you have players on that bench and players in the starting rotation to hit shots for you if somebody is slow. If somebody's having an off night, somebody will step up and fill that gap that they need to win ball games. And that's just something that Memphis doesn't have right now. Like in the last game, they lost by 7. 3 of their starters had 20 points. Yet Utah, their entire starting lineup, minus Royce O'Neal, who had 9, was over double digits with a Jordan Clarkson 24-point game off the bench. That just can't happen. You need more productivity from your players off the bench if you want to win ball games. And they're just not getting it. Grayson Allen, you know what I'm saying? Desmond Bane, they need more from him. D'Anthony Melton can only do so much off the bench with a 15. And it's just unfortunate. I don't know. I just don't think they're missing pieces. They need to win ball games. And of course, I think, like you said, Golden State should have been here. Would have been a way much better series to watch because I love Stephen Curry. You know what I'm saying? That's my MVP. You know what I mean? But he's not going to get it because Jokic is having a stellar, But that's beside the point. I still think, it's unfortunate. It is what it is. We move on. This is done. Series is over. Good night. Arrivederci. Thank you for coming out and wasting our time. Thank you.
Alrighty. So the big game tonight, the Dallas Mavericks and the Los Angeles Clippers. The series decide 2 games apiece. Going into this game, we don't know exactly how Luka Doncic is gonna come into this game. Is he gonna be stronger than he was before? How the next strain is it getting better? We don't know exactly where his mindset is for this game. But we do know where the mindset is for the Clippers. They're going to come out and they're going to smack the Mavericks in the face because they flipped the script on the Dallas Mavericks. I know some people were saying the Mavericks might get one more game, but Doncic is going to have a crazy, crazy game because his players around him right now are just not showing up. His co-star, Kristaps Porzingis, is turning into not the unicorn, but the loser corn. That's what he is. So, it's just different right now for the Mavericks. I don't think they realize what's like at this point. I don't think they realize what's happening when they're without Doncic. They don't have that spark plug that they had before. So I believe that Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, the Clippers are gonna win Game 5 tonight, and they're gonna go back to Dallas with a 3-2 lead.
If Luka is not healthy. If somebody can tell me right now that Luka is not healthy at all, then yes, I'll agree with what you're saying. If Luka has the slightest chance of being if Luka can be at 80 to 90% tonight, I think the Mavericks win tonight. If Luka is under the freaking 50%, they're losing. But if he is 80 to 90%, I have the Dallas Mavericks. I don't give a damn. This still is my probably like team that is going to the Western Conference Finals. I have the Suns and the Mavericks in the Western Conference Finals. You know what I'm saying? Dallas is one of the most underrated, underappreciated. I keep saying that every freaking podcast, and I will keep saying it until it freaking bothers everybody. I don't care. There's the most underrated team and underappreciated team. Porzingis needs to come in and step up and be a goddamn superstar rather than a freaking fluke. What is it? Whatever the hell the word is. Freaking Buford head ass. Yeah, I don't know why I said flump. Buford head ass. You know what I mean? He needs to ball out. He needs to have a great game, and he needs to step up because Luka can't do it by himself. You know what I'm saying? Luka cannot do it by himself, especially if he's struggling with this ailing injury that he has in his freaking neck. If he can come out, be 80, 90%, Porzingis can do his thing like he was doing. You know what I'm saying? If Tim Hardaway Jr. can ball out the way that he has been, if all these players can, if all the role players and everybody on this team can ball out the way they're known and the way that they can, I don't see the Dallas Mavericks losing a game the rest of the year. I think they win in 6 if Luka's healthy and everybody hits their shots. If Luka's not healthy and everybody misses, it's over. Good night. Have fun. Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, moving on. But I think the Dallas Mavericks are just too much of a good team to be slept on, to be underrated. You know what I'm saying? You can have, sure, Kawhi and PG were playing great, but weren't everybody just talking about how great Luka and the Mavs were playing before they went to Dallas? You know what I mean? Nobody's won at home yet, and I don't think that's going to change tonight. I don't see that happening. So I think Dallas wins tonight. I think I don't think it's a blowout. I think it's a close game. I say like by 5. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I just see Dallas winning tonight. I have too much love for Luka. I think Paul George will see a pandemic P. I know we saw playoff P in the first, you know what I'm saying, in the last 2 games, or I guess majority of the season, I should say, or series. But I still think we'll get a pandemic P at some point. And yeah, I just don't know. I got the Mavericks tonight. That's all I can really say.
I was one of those people that said that when the Mavericks went up 2-0, that they were going to sweep the Clippers, but obviously I was wrong about that. Kawhi, I think I'm just telling you, the past 2 games, from what I'm seeing, the Mavericks are, I don't know what's going on because the games haven't been close. They haven't been close.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And as far as like I guess the Clippers blew them out in games 3 and 4, and I guess Dallas blew them out in games 1 and 2. So I mean, I still think the Clippers are going to win tonight, but it could be anyone's guess. You could be right that Luka pops off and that Paul George doesn't play well enough to win the game for the Clippers. But I think Kawhi Leonard's leadership, the Clippers are playing a lot better now defensively and offensively. The Clippers are probably going to win this game tonight. I think they're back home. They're going to change the narrative a little bit that the home team is going to win. They're supposed to win the home games. So it's going to be a difficult challenge for the Mavericks to win, but they definitely have a shot. If Doncic plays like he plays, they could definitely win. I could totally see it, but I think Kawhi Leonard and Paul George and the Clippers are the team to beat tonight. As we get into tomorrow's games and tomorrow's podcast, I'm sure we'll have a lot to talk about then.
Absolutely.
But with that being said, Mr. Sebastian, do you have any more topics you would like to talk about today?
No, I mean, I'm just like, I really just think these boys are gonna win tonight, and you know, I don't know, man. At least with this team and this like preview, I want Dallas to win. You know what I'm saying? My uncle's a big Dallas fan. You know what I mean? So it would be nice for them to make a little push, a little run. You know, but we'll see. I don't know, man. It's a toss up, like you said. I hope Dallas comes out on top. I hope they perform. I hope they're ready to go and prove to everybody, you know, why they're here, why they finished as the 4th seed. Obviously, the Clippers did tank, but we're not going to talk about that. But yeah, so it's going to be a close one tonight, though. Whoever wins, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Alrighty, guys. Thanks to everyone for watching. If you haven't already, follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you guys listen to your podcasts. Leave us a rating, give us a review. It really helps us a lot to grow the podcast, get sponsorships. Besides that, if you guys are not audio listeners and you like watching us, seeing our beautiful faces on the screen every day of the week, you can follow us on Twitch if you haven't already. Follow us on YouTube if you haven't already. Leave us a comment on the YouTube videos that we put. it's a real help for the algorithm. Leave us a like. We appreciate everything you guys are doing for us. It's amazing to see the support that we got. We got 10 people watching today. That's more than any of the episodes we got
Yes,
so
sir.
far. So we really appreciate that. So with that, if you guys haven't already, you guys can find me on Instagram and Twitter at WildcardMovies.
Sure.
Sebastian, where can they find you?
Rabbit FL on everything. Rabbit FL on everything. Yes, sir.
All right. With that out of the way, we shall see you guys tomorrow, and thanks for the support. Peace.
Peace.